Guys, we have breaking news in the Melodee Buzzard case. Unfortunately, it's not what we want. Melodee Buzzard is gone, folks. She is gone. She's gone. I never thought Ashlee Buzzard had it in her, but Melodee is gone. They found her early December. They kept it under wraps until they got the DNA back. They got the DNA back. Melodee is gone. She was deceased in Utah. I'm very unsure when she was deceased, when she became deceased. We're hearing a few different reports saying she was deceased before she left California and before they went on the road trip. I don't know how true that information is, but right now we are hearing that Melodee Buzzard is no longer with us, folks. Melodee Buzzard is no longer with us. I'm very, very upset to learn this new information. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. We try to fight hard for these cases, and sometimes we're just wrong about our assessment. This was one such time. God bless. Well, guys, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I was hopeful Melodee would be alive. I'm finding out now that I ended my live. I was hopeful that this was going to be the one that defied, because it really wasn't. I knew she was running, but they said they found her body. Melodee is officially deceased, and they found her in Utah. Her mother is arrested. We didn't know why she was arrested. We kept looking to find out why she was arrested, and she is arrested because Melodee's dead. They found her. Yes. And I was just up here not even a couple hours ago, thinking she was going to still be okay, or she was still in the purple hair lady in Utah. And, this is going to be the one that we were going to find, that we were going to bring home, that we were going to, no, it's not. She's gone, guys. She's freaking gone. She's gone. This lady, she's gone. I don't know. I'm willing to entertain that mobile. She's gone. They found her. I don't know where they found her. We're supposed to have a press conference at like 5 o'clock. I don't know if that's 5 o'clock Pacific time or 5 o'clock Eastern time. But they found her in Utah. I was just here, we were all on here talking about it. We were talking about how they busted the door in to take her. We knew it was serious, but I thought it was just, to rattle her cage, to get her, that they finally got the warrant signed by the judge, just stuff that they were talking about doing like the first 30 days. I was just confident that it was that. Yes, it's hers, Emily. It's hers. It's hers. It's hers. She's gone, and I'm deeply upset because I was just saying I could be wrong. Usually I want to be wrong. When I'm wrong, that means somebody's alive. But in this case, if I'm wrong, gosh, I'm getting goosebumps. If I'm wrong, that means this little girl's gone. And we couldn't figure out. We were on here. We were looking. We couldn't figure out what she was charged with. They weren't releasing the charges. We still don't know what she's charged with, y'all. We have no idea what she's charged with. But we did find out through ABC, because while I was on the YT, because I premiered my last live on YT. And when I premiered it, there was breaking news as it was premiered, and I couldn't stop the premiere. And the premiere is that, I thought she was still alive. I think they're just rattling this woman's cage. And all the news breaking was they found her daughter, and they found her daughter unalive. Yep, slammer to slammer. They found her unalive in Utah, where they were last seen. And, I kept looking at this case. This woman should have been arrested a long time ago, but the problem is that California law is so messed up. She really didn't break any laws, and she didn't break any laws, taking her daughter out, changing the license plate. As long as it wasn't done in the state of California, they couldn't charge her for that. But none of the stuff that she did was really criminal. And it's because California has literally decriminalized the crap out of everything. And they couldn't get her for the truancy stuff. And they were starting to call her outside of the lines, and it upset me so. And because of her history, I really didn't believe she had it in her. But they said they found Melodee. Melodee is no longer with us. So if you guys are tuning in, this is breaking my heart a lot. And it saddens me, but I don't know what to say. So if you guys are tuning in, I think what we're going to learn is that her mom's being charged with homicide. Ashlee's about to be charged with homicide. Do I think she's crazy? Honestly, I don't. I'm going to stand behind that. If she did this, she did it with full conscience. I do not believe she is crazy. I think that now that this is coming about, she is going to use the one time she did have her break. But I do not believe, I think that even her recording Tyler Brewer at this point should be coming in, because she sounded very put together, very smart, and knowing exactly what she was doing. So, we have to consider that. I'm not going to say that this lady, in my opinion, is insane and acted in mental health. I don't believe that. I believe she consciously did whatever she chose to do. Why she chose to do it is going to be the question. Now, there is another question, and I think some people have posed it into the chat once before, is, they found Melodee, but who's to say that her mother did that? So could she have taken her, for, dollars? I don't know what we can say on here on TikTok. You guys are so ultra offended about everything. I'm trying to be, could she have, set up something online and dropped her daughter off, and, those people do something with her daughter? Could a situation like that have happened? Yeah. So I'm very, very interested in these specific charges. She watched the Casey Anthony case and came up with her own plan. Very interesting. Slam to slammer. Maybe. She was, well, let's go through this. She is definitely smart. Think about it. She is definitely smart. She knew, she had the wherewithal to bring tools with her and a license plate to change her license plate. So if there's nothing more, there's definitely a premeditated factor here, because again, I believe she took this child. I thought she was waiting for 2.0 to happen, because she had such a powwow with this child's father's side of the family, that I thought she hit her daughter. And I thought she hit her daughter so she didn't have to go back through all of this. Like, there was a lot of justification here going on for me. And I'm not sure quite why, but I truly believe that this child was going to be the one that, did come home, and that everybody was making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, that's not the case. This child is as we are learning, and what we're going to learn at 5 o'clock, deceased. So I don't think we're ever going to get a child case where it's not a parent. Like, parents can be so freaking despicable. And then it's like literally on the heels of, like Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner. And it's like, that's a child with a parent. And it's like, what the heck is going on in this country? I am truly, truly heartbroken. Guys, I was literally on here 2 hours ago thinking that this child was alive, and we were looking to find out what she was charged with, because I thought they were just rattling her cage, bringing her down. Judge finally signed the warrant that was supposed to be signed like 30 days after this child. Can you imagine that? This child, they couldn't even get a warrant. I want this to sink into everybody here. Like, this needs to be a real wake-up call to California residents, that this child never got an Amber Alert, never got an endangered missing person alert. This child, they couldn't even get a court order for this woman to produce this child from the dependency court. You want to know why? Because they have literally decriminalized literally every blessed thing in California. Nobody is held accountable until it's too late. All of these laws that we have that people keep trying to decriminalize and all this other stuff, those are to prevent these types of things happening. Did they find the little girl? Shannon, yeah, in Utah, dead. She's gone. And I really had faith in this mother. Like, I really believed of all cases, this one, and this just goes to show me, like, none of these parents, you know? Like, literally every case that we get where there's a parent involved, it's going to most likely be them. Because even the cases that we don't think it's them. I mean, every blessed case we get when there's a young child that disappears from a home, whether they're with their parent, without their parent, they're not with it's the parent. It's the parent. And this is a mom. This is yet another mom. So I don't want to hear any of you guys sitting there saying about, Sebastian Rogers and how his mom couldn't do this. Okay, look what this mom did. Yes, I did, Molly. I did believe in the mom. And, it's heartbreaking. Because, there was a lot of things that went into it. Like, one, she was on the run with her mother. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of already in her makeup. Two, she's already ran off with her daughter before and went to Iowa. She lived in Iowa, So, I mean, you already have a history of where she's done this before, and Melodee was fine before. So, I mean, if she didn't have the history, I'd be more concerned, but she had the history with her mom. She already had a history of doing this once before, so naturally you're not looking at it like that. At least I wasn't. I know other people were. And I was thinking, and I looked at the law and I'm like, wait a minute, how is law enforcement able to do this? And how is law enforcement able to do that? And I started asking questions and nobody could answer. And so you realize that they've decriminalized everything in their state and their hands are tied. So they are coloring outside of the lines because they can't get anything done any other way because there's nothing to criminalize. There's nothing criminal about what this woman did. And now we find out her daughter's deceased. So that's the laws for you in California. I don't think people in California want that for their laws. I'm sorry. I just can't believe that this is possible. So absolutely an eye for an eye. What is the mother arrested? We don't know. We still don't know, Francis. We just happened to find out because I was running a premiere, which was my prior live that I did a couple hours ago on this channel. I was running the premiere. I could have just went and let it go, just run, but I scheduled it to run a premiere when I had some time to be in there with my chat. Because we kept looking and I was waiting to try to find out what she was actually charged with, but that never came around. And then, of course, when my premiere started, the information started just being released by ABC out of Utah that her body was found. And so that's when I found out that Melodee's body was found. And we were still sitting there. I was like ready to boot people. I'm like, if anybody says that this child, we're not spreading around misinformation. We're not spreading around misinformation, kind of like what I do on here. And so people started sending me stuff and I started looking. And as soon as sure enough, I found a legitimate source, ABC News, and they're saying that her body has been found in Utah. So she is gone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about whether Melodee is coming home or not. She is not. She is not. She is gone. She is gone. I don't think there's going to be one case that we come here that it's not going to be the frickin' parent. I really don't. I'm disgusted. I'm starting to be disgusted with humanity. And right before Christmas too. Right before Christmas. Did they have the press conference? Huxley, they're going to be doing it. I'm unsure, you know, because there's such a time difference. I'm from Florida. I'm in Florida right now. And they're in California. So I know there's going to be a press conference at 5 p.m. I don't know if that's their time or our time. Huxley, okay, so Lori Lynn, thank you so much. Huxley, she's saying that it's going to be 2 p.m. specific. It's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. So if you guys are somewhere in that, in those time zones, so 2 p.m. is California time. 5 p.m. is Florida time. So you need to figure out where you are between California and Florida, and that will be the time that they will be doing the stream. I will not be, I saw it's not live streamed. Okay. Well, it may not be live streamed, Huxley, but typically there are news stations that go there, and those news stations broadcast those live. So what I would recommend, and this is just for everybody out there, if you're looking for this live, look and find out which news stations, local news stations have been covering this case, and then go to their YouTube channel and see if they have a live set up already for this, because it's already scheduled. They know that they're going to be there at 2. If they're going to be out there to do this live while they're speaking live, they'll have that set up, and they should have that set up at least an hour at minimum before this goes on. So if it's going to happen at 5, it's 3 p.m. my time here, so we have 2 hours. So I would say within the next hour, there should be several news broadcasters that will have this already scheduled to be live streamed on the YT. So, you know, I don't know how you guys do it here on YouTube. I live in Cali. I'm devastated over this. I really am devastated over this. You guys don't realize how devastated this makes me, because I was very, very hopeful. Very, very hopeful. Beyond hopeful. And I was giving this lady a lot of grace that she should not have been shown. And I was just, because of her history, I was just certain. I was absolutely certain that this was going to be one that came home. Like, I have literally zero faith in parents. I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing, because I know I'm looking in the camera and there's some really great parents staring back at me. You know, I know that you guys love your children, and God forbid something happened to your children. But damn. Yes, Steph, they found her. They found her. Like, I'm tearing up. I'm so upset over this. If you can't produce your child for months, it's guilty. Yeah, but the problem is this is, you know, and that was the problem. But I just knew if they really thought this child was missing or couldn't find her or something like that, that they would have been able to go produce a court order. You know, that's all I had been demanding, is just get the court order and be done with it. And they never came back with the court order. They never had the ability to hold this woman accountable, or even force her to tell her where the child was or where they went. They had no enforcement. This is pretty stinking scary. That there's literally no enforcement. Carrie Ann, you're right. We may find out later. She did what the laundry did, basically. Hit the house, DoorDash, shaking my head. Oh, is that what she was doing? Hey, Jessica. Sorry, found who? Oh, sister, Melodee Buzzard. They found her body. She's not coming home. We were finding this out like literally days before Christmas. But you know what? In all fairness, I'm glad that the mom doesn't get to sit home and for Christmas. She doesn't deserve to be home for Christmas. You know, they no direct proof yet that Melodee was in jail. Yeah, they couldn't find it. That's exactly it. But see, the inspired. The problem is that they could have, if they would have let some of the truancy stuff still be criminalized. They decriminalized anything that holds parents accountable when children disappear from school or out of the limelight of other people. You know, like there was nothing that law, like, she literally, they've decriminalized. The only thing that they could have really used in the dependency court to force her or to find Melodee sooner was the truancy. And the truancy has always been criminalized up until, I think, like 2019, so recent. And now look at this. We have one victim of the decriminalization of truancy in California. So let's not say that there are no victims of these things, that these are victimless crimes. These are not victimless crimes. Well, I appreciate that, Ruffles, but I got this whole case wrong, and I can't stand here and give myself, an applause. I gave this woman entirely too much credit. I looked at the laws. I followed the laws. She didn't break any laws, and her history showed that she's prevalent of running, right? Her mom ran with her from an abusive father. She's ran before with Melodee to try to hide her from her father's side of the family from trying to, make claim in adopting her. So I just assumed that, this was just another flea, that she's had a plan. She was taught a plan at a young age, and, it's just awful. In Australia, our children don't attend school. They come knocking. In any other state, Nicole J., you're absolutely 100% right. And I don't know why nobody can see your thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. In any other state, that's the way it is. Your kid don't go to school. If this happened in Florida, she would have been arrested in 24, 48 hours. They don't play here in Florida. Okay? Where did they find? They found her in Utah. They found her in Utah. But the problem is that she wasn't from Florida. In Florida, we do things differently in Florida. I mean, we just do. Even in Tennessee is another red state, and I hate Tennessee law. I hate it. It drives me absolutely bonkers. But here in Florida, you can't produce a kid, you go to jail. You have a house in squalor, you go to jail. You fight, you stay drunk, you do substances in front of your kids, and law enforcement come up, you go to jail. You get the theme here? You do anything bad in front of your kids, you go to jail here in the state of Florida. We don't play. If she would have done, if what had happened with Melodee here in the state of Florida, we wouldn't be here. She would have been in jail. Will they Oh, that's a great question, Lori. That's a great question. Will they extradite? Because this is going to be very interesting. You just brought up a valid point. Because she did not die in California. She's not going to be charged in California. Interesting. Now the question is going to be, guys, since we now know that this child is dead, did she unalive her in a different state? Like, we talk about Nebraska and her taking that weird little route through Kansas. Now all of this is starting to come into play. How long was Melodee alive? Now that's going to be my next question. How long was she alive? And how did this happen? Did she, Utah does have the DP. Yeah, but they don't really enforce it. I mean, I don't really have a lot of faith in Utah. Utah's where, Charlie Kirk was, and I don't really care for their investigation, quite frankly. Aw, thank you. Vibes, be positive. It's nice to see you over here. Outer Banks. Love it. Love it. I am absolutely saddened. Wait, so do you know what the mother... No, we don't have any confirmation, sister. We have no confirmation whatsoever. This is what I know. When I was on here, we couldn't figure out what was going on. Everybody that we talked to when we closed out the show was basically saying we all know that she was arrested, but we didn't know for what. It wasn't until, I want to say, maybe an hour after that. So she was arrested, This morning, which would have been, it was 7:45, 3 hours behind. So about 10:45, 11:45 this morning, we started hearing about it by about 1:30 your time. So it would have been, no, it would have been 1:30 our time. So we started hearing about this when it was breaking. Because it was like an hour after it was breaking. Yeah, Huxley, 8 a.m. But 8 a.m. for you guys would have been 9, 10, 11 o'clock my time. So I would have been hearing about it right about, and it was about an hour after that. So I would have been hearing about it about noon my time, and it's only 3. So that's about right. And I came live while it had just happened, like within the hour of her arrest. We had gotten the video. It was within the hour of her arrest, and we were broadcasting, and then it had to upload. I ended that. I was on there for about, I think, I want to say 40 minutes. And then I had to put everything together in a video, which takes me a little bit, and then upload it, and then it was premiered. And by the premiere, about halfway through the premiere, people started coming in and saying that she was found. And I was getting frustrated because I had already been looking to find out what she was charged with, and we couldn't find any charges. And I had searched Melodee as well as Ashlee, and we couldn't figure out what she was charged with. And then people started saying, I'm from Utah. They found her body. And, you know, it's always weird because it's always the one, hey, alcoholic, it's nice to see you. It's always the people you don't recognize, right? It's never your people. It's like the people that come in gray, right? And so I'm on YT and all these people are coming in their gray. And I'm like, if you guys say it one more time, somebody send me something, send me something, send me something. So I finally went to Google and just wrote in Melodee Buzzard, B-O-D-Y is what I wrote in. And I hit enter. And they were just releasing it, I think, 20 minutes before I hit that button. Because you can tell, you know, when it was released, like 20 or whatever. And so it said 20 minutes. And it literally took my breath away. It took my breath away. She's gone. She's truly gone. She's truly, truly gone. Her mom was in Utah. Her body was found in Utah. And now we know that there was a purple-haired lady. Who's the purple-haired lady? The one with the wig. That purple-wigged lady is going to have a lot of information. I want to know who that lady was, because that could have been, you know, the HT or the ST aspect, because somebody was talking about, you know, cha-ching, cha-ching for, you know, Melodee. And, you know, that has never been thought of in my life. But, you know, now that I know that she's deceased, and we got to go back to Tyler Brewer, remember him and what she said. She met somebody at the zoo, and we knew that that was far-fetched. But what if there was a layer of truth to that? What if she did meet somebody and they were frantic about meeting her? And that's why she was driving all over the place, because they were trying to make sure nobody... You see where I'm going? And maybe that it really was. Maybe she did ST or HT her daughter. We don't know what she's charged with. They will not release... I think they're waiting for the press conference to tell us. They're going to release the charges, I believe, literally maybe a few minutes before the press conference. She's charged with something. Her child is dead. So I anticipate it being a homicide charge of something. Or at minimum, you know, I mean, depending on what is found in the investigation, she might be charged. I have a funny feeling she's going to be charged with a homicide. But I'm wondering, do they have enough information for that? Because there was the lady with the purple hair. Wouldn't they have to... Hold on. I would think that they would have to... All right, Delilah. Sorry, guys. I get a...
stew.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Beef stew.
Thank you. All right. It's my neighbor bringing me over something. Okay. So, I would think it has to be, sorry guys. I would think it has to be a homicide charge or negligence with great bodily harm. You know, because they would have to prove that she, let's think about it. They would have to prove that she's the one that did it. I wonder if the purple hair lady has already been arrested. Purple wig lady. We should call her purple wig lady. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, we're getting some information in. Mama Kit, Texas. Where's my other phone? Okay, is saying Court TV. Okay, guys, Court TV just said they found remains in early December and were waiting on DNA evidence. So they kept the fact that they found, this is interesting. This is the first time they've kept a whole entire body from the public. This is interesting. This is going to be interesting, folks. So they kept all of this under wraps. Court TV said they found remains in early December. Okay, we're at the end of December. So that means they found this young girl a couple weeks ago. Interesting. And nobody was the wiser. So they found these remains early December and we're waiting for DNA, according to Mama Kit, Texas. Thank you, love. I appreciate your help. They didn't want her to flee. She was unalive prior to the road trip per ABC. How could that be possible? Remember, I even said that at the very, very beginning, because before we realized how this had went is we first came into the story when she was missing for a year. And within short succession, they said, oh, she's not missing for a year. She was here. And then they said October 7th. And before I changed my tune, I was like, October 7th. And I went back and I said I talked about Madeline Soto and how they said she was they saw her in the car with Stefan Stearns, but it wasn't until he went, was getting ready to go to court and stuff like that, we realized that they saw her deceased. And I even brought that up. And it wasn't until after that I'm like, okay, they found her and they found her with her mom and they're still searching for her, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how that went. So how in the world was she deceased before when they gave us an image of this young girl? I've got it here. Hold on. Where is my, here? Effects. There we go. So, wait a minute, guys. Okay, I'm racking my head here. They were saying that this was from October 7th. But we also heard that she may have had could that girl have been someone she was taking back to Utah? No, this is Melodee. No, they said that this was definitely Melodee. I remember that. But they also had said that she had taken trips before. So what if this was an older photo than the one, and they just implied that this was the 7th? It's not possible she was unalive before. That's what I'm thinking. Because that's what I'm thinking, because this is supposed to be her on October 7th. And they said they saw her on October 10th, that the last confirmed sighting of her was October 10th. Or was it 9th? Because she arrived back home the 10th. The last time they saw Melodee was the 9th. Let me look at it. Melodee Buzzard. I know we have Santa Barbara. blog. Let's look at the timeline. Hold on a second. Let's just look at it. I might as well just look at it while we're here. Hold on, let me just do a quick search because there is some new information coming out about Melodee Buzzard. So let's look at the newest information. So 2 hours ago, body of missing girl. So here's what NBC says. That was 2 hours ago. This is from an hour ago. A mother of missing after girl's body is found. Fox News. Let's see if they have any different information here. California authorities are set to announce major developments. Okay, we do have this. Hold on. Okay. Why is it not letting me skip it? It's not letting me skip the ad. Okay, it's not.
All right, this story now for you this morning, everybody. The search for a missing 9-year-old girl in California continues. Melodee Buzzard vanished last month during a road trip to Kansas with her mother. Surveillance video shows them at a car rental agency a few weeks ago. And Matt Finn is following up on this story with the very latest for us. This is a scary, sad situation, Matt.
Yeah, Martha, 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. She was reported missing by a school administrator 1 month ago today. And since then, police say Melodee's mother, Ashlee, held a man against his will at home.
Oh, this is old.
Claims is because
this is an old video. Hold on. Let me read the...
Ashlee, with the short hair, pleaded not guilty in...
That's old. But the article isn't. They just stuck an old video there. So they say California authorities are set to announce major developments in the disappearance of 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard after her mother, Ashlee Buzzard, was taken into custody in connection with the investigation, the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office and Sheriff's Office confirmed. Multiple sources told ABC News that Melodee's body was found in early December in Utah, in an area where investigators believe she and her mother traveled in October. Authorities believe the 9-year-old was killed and was likely already dead weeks, with a plural, weeks before she was reported missing. Guys, they imply that this was October 7th. If she was deceased weeks, there's no possibility. She was reported on the 14th. Weeks would have been in November. Weeks would have been in November. But this is what they're saying. So this has to be true. So authorities believe the 9-year-old was killed and was likely already dead weeks before she was reported missing. According to ABC News, Ashlee Buzzard was taken into custody following DNA results that linked her to recovered remains. Officials have not yet publicly confirmed those details, and Fox News Digital has reached out to authorities for additional comment. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office said the development will be detailed during a news conference at 2 p.m. local time on Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday or Monday? It is Tuesday. Okay, good. I'm losing track of my days. It's getting close to Christmas. So there's going to be 2 p.m. Pacific time. Who's in the picture? This is Ashlee Buzzard. She was just arrested for, we don't know, we're assuming for her homicide. It had to be her. She had to have unalived her child. She had to have unalived her child. How could she do that? Buzzard, 35, had previously been in custody on an unrelated felony false imprisonment charge, and officials have not yet disclosed how the new developments directly tie to the missing child's case. Melodee, who authorities had described as at risk, was last seen October 7th while traveling with her mother after the pair left California in a rented Chevrolet Malibu. Investigators say the vehicle traveled through multiple states before returning, and authorities believe the license plate were temporarily swapped during the road trip. Sheriff's Office began investigating Melodee's disappearance on October 14th after a school official reported her prolonged absence. Deputies have said Buzzard failed to provide a verifiable explanation of her daughter's location and remained uncooperative in confirming Melodee's welfare. She unalived her kid, and they're saying that they believe this was before the road trip. This was before the road trip. Because the other news says she's seen last home October. Yeah, they're saying this photo right here was October 7th, because when we were looking at the time, let me go back to let me try to find the blog. Let's see. I'm pretty sure they had it in the Santa Barbara Sheriff blog. Okay. Okay, so let's follow this. So this is the last one was obviously the 7th. So here's what we've got. They said Santa Barbara County Sheriff detectives are releasing additional information on the ongoing search of missing at-risk 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard, including a portion of the surveillance video from October 7th, 2025. They say this is from October 7th, 2025. So that's not weeks before her reported disappearance, because it would have been a week. She was reported on the 14th is when they officially opened the investigation. Okay, let's just get back to it. So this was a portion of the surveillance taken October 7th, and an updated investigative detail indicating that Melodee's mother, Ashlee Buzzard, may have changed her appearance during the travel. They were both in wigs. This is a wig, and this right here is a wig. Detectives are now sharing a segment of the video footage taken on October 7th at a rental location in Lompoc, California. So this is the budget car rental location in Lompoc, California. Footage corresponds recently released still images showing both Ashlee and Melodee wearing wigs. Investigators also believe Ashlee swapped wigs throughout the trip, changing to a darker wig that is similar in color and style to the one Melodee was wearing. So it sounds like she took Melodee's. What they're implying that she took Melodee's wig. They're not saying that, but they're saying that how it's sounding is that she is now wearing Melodee's wig, because it says right here the footage corresponds to previously released still images that show both Ashlee and Melodee wearing wigs. Investigators also believe that Ashlee swapped wigs throughout the trip, changing to a darker wig that is similar in color and style to the one that was seen on Melodee. This change in appearance is believed to have been intentional to avoid recognition during travel. The sheriff's office began its investigation on October 14th. So that means a couple weeks. What's a couple weeks to you? I consider a couple weeks being 2, right? Like 14 days. That would take you to the end of September. I was going to say, because she does not look 9 years old. I remember, didn't we have these conversations back then? I think people were saying that as well. They may have thought it was her until further investigation showed it wasn't. But then who would this be? What little girl would this be? Interesting. That's not the little girl. That's a grown woman. No, we got different still images. I believe it's I've been wrong about this whole entire case. What the hell do I know? I mean, I have, and that's not funny. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. You know, I was very hopeful that this child was alive, and even up until a couple hours ago, I was very hopeful. She looks about 9 to me. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's a young girl, and they're saying that it was her. I think you know what? I think what they're saying is, you know, she's she's been gone. I believe she might have been weeks. I mean, think about it. They didn't open the investigation until 4 days after her returning home. The last time they saw her was on October 9th. So let's read the timeline here. Here's the timeline. Ashlee left California with Melodee on October 7th, 2025. So it leaves me to question whether or not, when she picked up the car, if she took her back to the home and unalived her. That might be a plausible explanation for this. But what it says is Ashlee left California with Melodee on October 7th, 2025. We heard from a prior, or this release here, that this is from the October 7th trip to Budget Rental. This is the Budget Rental trip, and that's in Lompoc, California. So they're saying that she left California with Melodee on the day that we see here, driving a rented white 2024 Chevy Malibu with the license plate 9MNG101. Detectives believe Ashlee and Melodee traveled as far as Nebraska with a return route through Kansas, and they made it a point to say Kansas because it was really out of the way. So was she already deceased at that point? It's possible. Beginning October 8th, so she left the 7th. She was already in Nebraska and Kansas. Beginning October 8th, the Malibu was observed with New York license plate. The plate did not belong to the vehicle or Ashlee and is believed to have been used as a false or switched plate to avoid detection. When the Malibu was returned to Lompoc, it had the California plates. Detectives have confirmed that Melodee was last seen on October 9th. Hey, Copper. I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see you. So, yeah, I'm from Lompoc, Santa Maria. I had met her a few times. Very strange woman, really. Well, if you listen to that conversation she had with Tyler Brewer, because they played the portion of it in court. If you read that or you listen to that, she sounds smarter than and she's making a lot of smart, calculated decisions here. I'm not willing to say she's mentally ill, but I'm sure the courts are going to probably play that card, because that's what everybody's been playing this entire time, her mental health. I think she's very calculated. I've said that from the very beginning. I thought she was just hiding her daughter, but now that I know that she unalived her daughter, I'm not changing those statements. She was very calculated then. She's very calculated now. I read the calculation wrong, but at the end of the day, I've never took her as batshit crazy. Oh no, I'm not. I've been in a lot of pain. My shoulder's been bothering me, but yeah, other than that, I've finally got all the presents wrapped up under the tree. Let's see if I got a picture of that. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. I really do. I'm sorry we have such horrible news. There I am. I'm ready for Christmas. I'm ready. And I sent this to my BFF. I said, ho, ho, ho to my ho, ho, ho. And I found the ho, ho, ho paper for my ho, ho, ho friend. No, I'm just joking. She's 60-something years old. Trust me. The ho, ho, ho has been gone for a long time. Long time. But, I'm kind of, I'm in a lot of pain. And I've been in a lot of pain since I put the Christmas lights up. And I haven't, seems like every Monday it's inflamed, and it takes me all week to uninflame it. I get it Friday and Saturday. My shoulder feels well. By Sunday, I have the stabbing pain again. Been going for show. Hey, signs of the crime. It's nice to see you. It's no fun getting up in age. No, it's not. I know it's not. I'm not doing anything. No family around. Well, come over to the YT. We have a pajama party on Christmas Eve. It starts at 6:30, and we just kind of hang out and laugh and chat. And then on Christmas morning at 9 a.m., we wake up and we spend time together. And nobody should ever be alone on Christmas morning. So but it's not going to be on the TikTok. It's going to be on the YT. So. Merry Christmas to you, Francis. I wish we had some good news to say. I wish that Melodee would be opening presents in Utah with friends that her mom, left her with. But that's not the case. We're waking up today, just a few days before Christmas, to find out a little 9-year-old girl is gone. And her mom's a monster. The one mom that I truly thought wouldn't do this. And it's like, I don't believe any parent is incapable of anything. I remember for so long, everybody kept saying, you always jump to conclusions with the parents. You always jump to conclusions with the parents. You always immediately assume it's the parents. You always well, it's like 99.9% of our cases, it's freaking the damn parents. You want to know why we jump on the bandwagon as the damn parents? It's because every time, even when we don't think it's the parents, it comes out to be the freaking parents. It's like, good gracious. I'm too scared to be it's easier to find ho 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 on Christmas paper, during but she's really my biatch, but they don't make biatch Christmas paper. It's sacrilegious. If they had you my biatch Christmas paper, I'd be wrapping it with that. We need to bring Sebastian home now. Exactly, Rob. But you know what? At the end of the day, we kind of know how that story's going to end too, don't we? When I give a parent a benefit of the doubt, I get freaking pied-faced, right? Like, eat that, biatch. It's like, okay, great. I get so frustrated. I'm just so damn angry. So damn angry. I look around, and guys, there's even kids we haven't even talked about. Do you guys know that? I went and just did, I do cursory checks of, the National Center for Missing and Exploited. Yes, they did, Beth. She's gone. They found her in Utah. Mom was arrested this morning. It has made me sad. It's made me very sad. It's made me very sad, and it makes me even more sad. It actually makes me more angry for Sebastian. Like, I'm angry. I know I'm not showing my anger right now because I'm kind of depressed because I was really hopeful. Really hopeful. I even said, I'm showing this lady a lot of grace, but I really... It's just the parents. And I can't just say it's just the parents, because that's a lie too. Look at Rob Reiner, But I'm finding out new stuff about Nick Reiner. Do you guys know they updated his medication, like, just recently before all this? I don't like psycho medications. And I don't like the fact that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia whenever he has, when he's had so many psychosis moments, under, whether it's math or Coca-Cola psychosis. He's been under both psychosis. And when you're in that type of psychosis, a fueled psychosis like that, well, you start hearing and seeing things. It doesn't mean that you're schizophrenic, so... I don't know. I could be wrong with that one too, but I got to tell you, this is going to come down to, I think it's going to be a pharmaceutical thing. No, she wasn't. Amber Crombie, no, she's gone. She's gone. They found her in Utah. And shockingly, they found her, I don't know how they were able to keep it under wraps. They found her in early December, and they were waiting for the DNA test to come back. The DNA test came back as it was being her, and they just arrested her mother this morning. So she's gone, I dislike them too. Yep. I don't know when. We just found out this today. And actually, it's just her body being found has just been breaking over the last hour, maybe hour and a half. We found out of the arrest before we found out about the body. I just saw it in the news. Yep. She probably waited for the knock. She didn't open the door. They had to pry the door open. They kicked the door in. Where was the body? Utah. They found her in Utah. So now we need to ask ourselves, who was Purple Wig Lady? Who was Purple Wig Lady, and what does Purple Wig Lady know? The case still rages on. The case still rages on. This is so upsetting. Well, I guess we're going to be finding out. We got about another hour and a half. We're going to be finding out what she's actually charged with. What's the story behind Purple Wig Lady? First I've heard of it. Okay, Rob. So there was a lady that was in Utah that remembers seeing, which is another reason why I didn't think she had the capability of hurting her daughter. But the lady was in one of these rinky-dink, mountainous backwoods, like store, convenience store, probably like a one gas station pump place. Well, apparently they had some feral cats out there, and they were kittens, and she got the attention because she was pumping gas or something. She pulled up there for something, but she didn't go into the store, from my understanding, except to open the door and tell the lady she's got a bunch of kittens out there. And that's when the lady looked at her and realized, and didn't realize who she was because she didn't know about her yet, but saw her with another gal, an adult that had a purple wig on. And she was in the white Malibu, and they didn't say whether that time it was different plates or whether she had the California plates on it or not, just that she was there and there was a purple wig lady with her in the car, and they were just concerned. The only reason I got the attendant's attention is because she popped her head into the gas station to tell her about the kittens outside, and she knew about the kittens. And so she said, yeah, we're aware of them, and that was it. And she looked out and thought that was weird, and looked out and seen the lady with a purple wig lady next to her. So if you didn't hear that, yeah, maybe Melodee had a purple wig on. Well, see, remember, Lori, that's what they did ask about, but they said, no, this was an adult lady, that she was clearly an adult, because that's what they thought as well. But maybe the attendant was wrong. A lot of people think Melodee looked older than she really was. So, maybe the lady just got a glance at her and just glanced at her just the right way and thought she was older. There's a possibility. I mean, I have to think it was a split second type of, scene, or even, a few seconds, but I mean, nothing more than like maybe 1, 2, 3, right? So possibly, I don't know. Maybe Melodee had a purple wig. Yeah. That's possible. Let me see what else we got here. God now has a beautiful angel. It's just sad. I really did think that. Will you cover the press conference on YT? Honestly, probably. I've been in a lot of pain. I did a live like at 5 o'clock this morning because I was in so much pain. I needed to lay down, and I've been in kind of pain, but this was an emergency. And then we thought that she was just arrested again, just to rattle her tree. And I was doing the premiere on my YT, and that's when we realized they found her body. And so I'm like, my channel, everybody's like, they found her, I'm still talking about how I still think she's alive and everything else. And I'm like, I'm not killing this live. It wasn't a live, it was a premiere. I said, I'm not killing this. This was recorded a couple hours ago. This is the way it was. This is what I was feeling at the time. Like at that point, I felt like it was malpractice. If I would have pulled it down, then people would say I was trying to cover, how I was feeling up or something like that. People are really weird on these platforms, So I just let it roll through, and just to let people know how I felt, because in all fairness, I corrected a lot of the stuff, even the fact that this is all my opinion. I could be very, very, very wrong, and she could be really, really, really gone. And I thought everybody needed to hear that, because I think people do need to hear my back and forth and my processes, because we are not 100%. We have a high batting average on our channel, but it doesn't mean we go without being wrong on cases when we analyze them. And this particular case, I truly believe that this child was okay in being hidden from the state, because she just knew that once she gets this child taken this time, she's gone. But the one part I was leaving out of it is the whole, if I can't have you, nobody else can mentality, right? I didn't attach that with this mom. And in all fairness, that's what it looks like with this. If I can't have you, no one can. You know, many parents, many moms, if they would rather have their child, she will get what's coming to her in jail or prison. Oh, I agree with that. But you know what brings up a next point is she's not even going to be tried in California. This child was unalived. Unless they can prove she was unalived in California before she went on this road trip, this child was found in, oh my gosh, can you imagine if this child was truly unalived in Nebraska? The jurisdiction would be Nebraska or Kansas. Oh my gosh. Who would have jurisdiction over this case, and where was this child unalived at? She went through so many states. Because I'm pretty confident that the Fed, maybe they do have to do, well, it's over state lines. You're right. It's over state lines. It might be feds. Maybe she's being charged federally. Because how in the hell do you figure out what state she was unalived in? Because am I correct? I mean, I'm pretty sure that the law, like where you're charged with the crime, where you're charged with that homicide, has to be the state where the homicide was charged in. And I know there's a way that if you, like, for example, if you unalive somebody in one state and then, move them to a different state, like the dumping, like, it gets hairy there. Like, Andrew, what are you trying to say? For example, if she unalived her in, say, Nebraska or Kansas and dumped her in Utah, wouldn't wherever she unalived her have the jurisdiction to bring the homicide charge? And then how do you work in the dumping charge? Because wouldn't the abuse of corpse have to be charged in Utah? I think you guys are right. I think this might have to be a federal suit in order to keep it all together, because I think she committed several crimes in several different states. And how are they going to do that? Because if it stays in that state, that means she's going to have to be charged with this crime in this state, this crime in this state, this crime in this state. It is a federal crime. Okay, so hopefully they do. Because I know it goes over state lines, and I've always heard if it goes over state lines, it would be feds. So the feds are going to prosecute that. That makes the most sense. It's cross state lines, yep. The only reason why I was saying that is because it looked like the state is the one that, or the county is the one that picked her up. My lips are peeling. It's driving me crazy. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So that resolves that one thing, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, because they're saying she was gone before she left. If she was deceased before she left California, then California would have jurisdiction over that homicide, in my opinion. But again, she went over state lines, which we all know once a crime goes over state lines, or a custody dispute, or a kidnapping, or a child, then it does become federal. Years because the body was found in Utah. Yes, because the body was found in Utah. Yeah. This is gonna be wild. I mean, it's hard to even have faith in anybody, because even when you try to have faith in somebody, it's like these people, it's a disgusting world out there. It's just a disgusting world out there. I don't understand why parents feel the need to hurt their children. Why don't they just, hand their children over to the state, or sign the child over to a family member, or, do something that's better. Why hurt the child? Why hurt the child? How can a mom do that? How can I don't know. Like, I sit here, I could never imagine living with somebody, or even giving birth to somebody out of my body, and 9 years later wanting to you know, I can't. I can't. I don't understand this. Wait, yes. Shorty, they found her. They found her in Utah. According to the reports that I just read, and I just read an article from Fox News. We had another one from ABC and NBC. This is coming from major news stations. She was found allegedly earlier in December. And it was all kept under wraps. So Melodee has been found. And this brings light to a lot of other stuff. I didn't think law enforcement could ever keep a body being found under wraps. So this is a misconception I've had as well, because they kept this body under wraps for at least a couple weeks. They found her body and they wanted to confirm with DNA testing before they said anything. And they confirmed it was her, and they have just arrested her mother today. I don't know what the charge is. We tried calling down there. We had multiple people keeping up down there to find out what her true charges are, and nobody has been released. They might have the charges released now. I don't know, but the last time we called, which was like, I don't know, a couple hours ago, there were no new information on charges related to Ashlee Buzzard. So I don't know. Yes, they had to wait for DNA. Yep. And so I don't know if they charged her with the homicide, or they're charging her with like a negligence with great bodily harm type of charge until they prove that she's the one that physically unalived her daughter. Because again, it comes down to one. Well, here's what we have to consider. One, is the witness at the gas station credible? Not that she didn't see what she thought she saw, or that she thought it was the person, but what if it was a like person that just happened to be with somebody in a wig and wasn't even on the path, or even in the it's just, because I'm pretty sure when we heard that it was the private investigator hired by the family. And then we have the random crazy chick, premeditated, says this is premeditated. It sounds like it might be, because we're hearing that they believe she was deceased before going on the road trip. I'm very, very, very confused about those statements. That is also another statement that we heard from the articles, is that they believe she was gone weeks before she was reported missing. They said weeks plural, and I don't see how they can do it, because we went back to the notifications from law enforcement, and it was clear that the video, the footage that we had, the photo that we had of them inside the budget rental car store was from October 7th. And I went back to the sheriff's blog to reconfirm that, and that was accurate. It was from October 7th. So maybe a week before she was reported missing, but weeks before, I think, might be a stretch based upon everything that we've learned. She was alive when she left California. That's what I'm thinking. And they're saying that she was not. So somebody's got some things messed up. So we really do need to wait for the press conference to get a good understanding of what's going on. She was alive, and she was on this road trip, but something must have happened. She did not come back with her daughter. And my controversy with that was I thought they were violating her rights for a number of reasons. The number of reasons that I thought they were violating her rights is because they have no laws. They decriminalized everything. And so I was fighting the fact that they were doing things outside of the lines. And now I do realize they were doing things outside of the lines because they have no laws to work in. And this child was in grave harm. And I wasn't on board with that. And so we are coming to find out that this child truly was in danger, and that this child is deceased, and most likely deceased at the hands of her mother. So on this very trip, the problem is that this is not the first time her mother ran off with her child. She ran off to her with her child once before to Iowa that nobody wanted to talk about. And that was when the other side of the family was trying to get custody of this. That's right. The father is dead. And he's been dead about 6 months after this child was born. So that's kind of where we are with the whole situation. I gave the mother too much grace because of her own personal history. And clearly, no matter what we think, parents are capable of very disgusting things. So, that was hard to choke out. Whenever I do this, I'm gonna probably have to cut a whole bunch of stuff out of this thing because it was tough to get through. That's the Reader's Digest version. I don't know how to explain it. It seemed very low key. It seemed like they weren't completing some tasks, which is really weird. But they said that she was alive and that she was with her mom on the 7th. And that was the last time they seen her. And then we heard about Nebraska. We were just like, show us some film. Show us some areas that they're at. They were withholding so much from the public on this case, but wanting help. And it's like, what are we looking at here? I had never seen an investigation ran like this before. I will be honest with you. And then they were going, I started, because of how weird it was feeling, they weren't really sharing. They wanted us to look for this person, but they didn't even tell us what part. Like Nebraska, the state of Nebraska is pretty freaking big, And they wouldn't even tell us what part of Nebraska. And they would say, and turned around in Kansas. And it's like, you look at the map and the whole bottom of Nebraska runs almost to the bottom of the top of Kansas. And it's like, well, what part? I mean, how are we supposed to be telling this person to look at your film when we have no idea what part of Nebraska they're in or what part of Kansas they're in? We knew nothing. And I'm just like, so I started looking into the laws. I'm like, something's just really hinky here. Why is law enforcement doing this? If they want help, you would think that they would give us at least a location, So I started looking at it and I realized, wait a minute, this was decriminalized. Why do they have a federal investigation over truancy? And then you start reading in the history of this woman, and it's like, oh, okay, we got the in-laws. The in-laws have been trying to get this child. Now you're starting to paint a picture of in-laws that are trying to get their hands on a child to kick mom out of the family, basically type of a scenario. We've seen that before too. And so I'm kind of looking into that angle and that avenue and still not seeing anything that's just raising major eyebrows. And everybody's like, well, she changed the license plate. But that can be attributed to hiding the kid because of XYZ. And I just wanted to know what part of Nebraska, because if they were going up to Iowa, then I knew where they were heading to, because she lived in Iowa for a little bit of time when she hid Melodee once before from the in-laws. So it was like, and Melodee came back fine from that trip. So we're just, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she's done this before. Everybody was fine. We found out about her own personal history when she was 9 years old. What happened? Did happen to Melodee? Yes. If you guys are coming in and you don't know, Melodee has been found. Melodee is deceased. She was found in Utah. Her mother, either her mother or somebody else unalived her in Utah. And it sounds like mom did it. So mom's been arrested, I know, and I'm going through that right now. I'm shocked. I have no faith in families. When I hear a kid missing, I'm automatically looking at the parents. And I don't want to hear any hate channel or anybody tell me, oh, no, don't. Why? Because you know what? Even the ones that I think couldn't do it, right? Even the ones that have no criminal history, that have no history of abuse or substance abuse or anything like that, just lo and behold, off their children, So I don't know. It's just, whatever. It's sad. So it wasn't my gut feeling, Doodlebug. I didn't think she was gone. I thought, up until like literally 2 hours ago, I was still professing that they're going to find her. This is going to be the one. I just know this is going to be the one that they bring home. I just know it. they should always look at the parents first, never know what happens behind closed doors. Well, they did look at her, but there was a lot of stuff that led, you'll have to look at my stuff on it. And I was the fish that went against the current on this one. I went against all the professionals. I went against all of the talking news heads, because I just knew that this defied logic. There was something hinky going on with law enforcement. Law enforcement was coloring outside of the lines, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I figured it had to have been this custody dispute. Like, I've never heard of somebody going missing when they found the child with their parent. That's been my biggest complaint about it. And they kept playing around with the frickin' maps, and they wouldn't tell us where they believe this child was. I don't know why so many people are doing this to their children. It's a culture we have instilled in people, apparently. Apparently they, I really think we need to start bringing some of this punishment back to the public square. Like, we need to have public square, unalivings when the courts call for it. I think if people started seeing, we put all of these punishments behind closed doors where people don't really see what the consequences of their actions are. And I think we need to quit sensitizing, and start showing our people what will happen to you if you do this. This idea of keeping all this stuff under wraps so nobody sees what the ends, where's the prevention in that? You need to show them, if you go here, you're going to be in a boom, boom, boom squad, and that's going to happen. They need to be bringing this stuff front and center and showing you do this. This is this is where you're going to end up. That's deterrence. That's deterrence. And people want to shield young kids from that. Trust me, something like that will keep a kid in line the rest of their life. They don't want to be that. That'll leave an impression. People call that abuse. I call that education. Cheapest education you can have. 50 cents. No, I should stop before I get myself in trouble. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. I think that it's time that we bring some of these punishments, these serious punishments, to the public light. I think people need to see them. Hopefully it'll be a deterrent for the next person that wants to do something stupid. I don't know. I'm upset about this. I really am. So I'm going to get this pulled off, get this edited, and I'll be chatting with you guys. I'm closing this case. I don't want to see it again. We'll monitor it and find out what this lady is charged with, and see how it works in this in the criminal system. Hopefully she's out of California and the feds, because clearly California doesn't know how to do law enforcement, because a lot of the laws are preventative in nature. And when you don't have any guardrails up, you see what the outcome can be. So they took all their guardrails down. So, this was a case that was completely preventable, that the state of California and their lackadaisy policies failed to prevent. And actually, I would even say, helped, if you will. Helped. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. We'll catch you on the flip side. Pray and enjoy your family this holiday season. God bless.